Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot, the mouth of the South, and Santana Moss.
The guy.
And dude, Tana, just the sweatsuits. It's unbeaten, undefeated.
That's that ocean green right there.
It's a nice look, man.
Hey, I could just put on a sweatsuit and be comfortable. I ain't got to put on clothes. You know, that's my biggest thing. When it's cold out, I hate putting on all those jackets and sweaters, so I just got a sweatsuit.
No, you can tell this dude, like, he plans the night before, like what he's going to wear. Like, he one of them dudes.
Look, I actually took this out the wrapper this morning, took it out the bag.
Still got the crease in it. Look at it.
I went in there, out the bag, popped the tags off it. I went in my hat rack and said, they going to have to match it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, man. I don't have to map it out like we did in high school.
I understand.
The other thing that I just wanted to point out is, in addition to Santana always being fresh fitted.
Yeah.
In the Logan Paulson, Fred Smoot sports competitiveness, I think I'm winning, right? Am I winning? Like field goals and basketball, right?
Yeah.
You dominate me in basketball because you just huge. Let's just start there. And you're strong.
Hey.
And I was in no shape.
You're winning.
Yeah.
And the kicking, just brute force. Like, that's what you did.
There was a little technique there. But the thing I wanted to bring up is last night, hanging out with my wife, and I get a text from old Fred Smoot. Old 221 on the bowling, man. That was pretty good.
I hope he get all that out the way right now. And by the time he get there on tape, he stinks.
I should have sent you the next game because I went 241.
241, but I'm saying, and it says his bowling name is Thanos.
Yes, snap my finger, half of the pins in the world disappear.
And so, I don't know, man. I just feel like the fact you sent that to me means that, like, I'm in your head a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I just want to let you know what you're about to get into.
He's showing you that he can be himself on the lanes. You know what I mean? He can't be himself out there doing anything athletic.
You don't need to be in shape to bowl.
You ain't got to be an athlete to go bowl. So.
Well, no, because I bowled against a couple of 70-years yesterday. Talked all kind of trash to him.
They did?
Yeah.
Well, who's the famous bowler guy? He just retired, right?
Pete Weber?
Yeah, he just retired, right?
Yep.
And he was like, I'm him.
No, Pete Weber is him. And see, that's why I think it's time now for me to be the LeBron of the PBA. And they need a trash-talking brother in there to really get things started.
At Bet 365. Right?
Yeah. All I'm saying, brothers, hey, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders are not the only two sport guys. I'm going pro again.
Can you imagine this dude goes pro?
I'm finna go pro again.
All right, well, I'd love to see it.
PBA.
Just a reminder, we're brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe every sport should be epic. Right now, new customers can choose between two offers when they open an account at Bet365. Use a QR code to sign up. Deposit $10 and choose between either. First bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $1,000. If your qualifying bet loses, you receive a match refund in bonus bets. Or betting at offer and place a bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365, official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders.
I bet the house, Logan cannot beat me in bowling. All right?
House?
But now, disclaimer, must be 21 plus, physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you are someone you know has a gambling problem and won't help, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, do that. I mean, Tana, like that's a good bowling score though.
No, it was. He kind of scared me a little bit because I'm rusty. I haven't been out there as much.
You bowl too, right?
Yeah, I can bowl too.
Do you have your own ball?
I have my own ball.
Yeah, I just use the one at the lane. But if I do beat you, man,
you're not going to beat me.
I was like, I might have to go out there and give me a game or 2 wins. Fred is out there.
Hey, I'm getting that work in.
Yeah,
I bowl. That's just my leisure. Yeah. Like if I need if I'm having a stressful day,
I'm asked that all the time. What do I do for fun? And bowling was one of them. Like I haven't done it in a while. Now for fun, I'm riding a bike or working out or something. You know what I mean? But that's my fun. Like I go bowl. Like normally when I take my kids out on a night, we going bowling.
We going bowling.
Go bowl.
I'm the same way.
It's a great time because when I was young, I grew up in my grandmother's home, and you got to think we come from some of these kind of upbringings where you have your mom, other siblings in the house.
Yeah.
And they have kids.
Yeah.
And so the way that we got out the house from being all crammed up in one big old crib is to go bowling or go skating. So those are the two things that I did.
Down south,
as a youth that now, I kind of try to do it now,
I call them beer-intensified sports, meaning I can drink beer and get better.
Yeah.
Right? See,
what else? Like darts,
bowling, golf,
cornhole,
cornhole.
Yeah, you're getting better after a few beers.
Horseshoe.
With golf.
Yeah, golf. When you do golf tournaments, let's say we had Tanner golf tournament. By the third hole, One of my eyes is closed. So I'm seeing in the matrix. I don't even see grass. I just see numbers.
That's actually when I get better because I can't golf. So by the time I had the second round of that Tito's, I'm slapping that thing.
Yeah, because if you think too much in golf, you will fail.
Yeah.
All right, so it takes the edge off. And Jay challenged me to cornhole. All right. But I learned how to play cornhole by playing horseshoes, which horseshoes is harder to play than cornhole. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I am a specialist.
Is it? Leave a comment if you think horseshoes are harder than
cornhole. Yeah, because you got to literally get the horseshoes harder.
Is it?
I think cornhole is way simpler.
Horseshoes is hard.
Yeah, horseshoes.
I'm not saying horseshoes is easy. I'm just saying like
it's harder than cornhole.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jason? You're the expert.
I'm not an expert. Horseshoes is hard. I'm better than Fred at cornhole.
No, he's not. We will see.
I build my own cornhole boards. Like I play every Saturday for hours.
That's just like somebody say I'm good at football and I made my own football. Nobody cares that you made a pigskin. Huh?
But I will say
I know my way around.
What I will say, Fred, is you say you're good at everything. You say you're good at everything. There's never been one thing where you're like, nah, I'm okay at that.
I just had some stuff when we was talking in there. They were like, how are you in backgambling? I was like, I'm not good at that.
I don't even know. Well, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know if that's true.
He just said he can play ping pong, so that means he can play
tennis.
No, tennis and
pickleball.
Pickleball.
Ooh, every time pickle. Every time I'm out there.
Can we do that for our next contest? Is pickleball? Me and Fred?
Yeah.
I've never played.
You know who's also very good at pickleball? Is intern Caroline.
Is she? That's not surprising.
I thought she was good at soccer.
I want to see that.
She's very good at soccer.
Well, also, I was disappointed on that day we're kicking field goals.
She was not good.
She was not good at kicking field goals. So how good was she at soccer, though, really?
I mean, national champion.
I know.
She was probably she was on the team.
And she was the starter.
I heard she's
supposed to be pretty good.
No, she's pretty good.
For national champion.
Just disappointed with the
we need to watch
kicking.
the film.
Watch the film, go back.
Check out.
Do that tonight.
Yeah.
Watch intern Caroline's.
By the way, speaking of soccer, we did go to I did. He was supposed to be there. I went to a DC United game.
Okay.
And it was very good. And just
is it
such a different
Audi Stadium?
Yeah, Audi Stadium. Such a different football crowd.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. A lot of international people there. It's just the way they roar. And I can say this about soccer. They get excited about these smallest things.
Dude, it's a big deal.
Yeah, because it's like no scoring.
Because you can't get excited about goals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Running up and down the field.
So a guy put a little effort into a play and get a red card or something, the crowd. I'm like, did I just miss something? And I'm just in there like Ted Lasso. I'm just there. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying it, but it was a good game, a good crowd. I loved it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And Tana, you didn't.
You're trying to rub it in that I didn't show up, but we both had events that Saturday. I called him after my event, like, hey, what time you going to the stadium? He told me, oh, that's tonight, Hoss. I'm like, well, all right, and I'm gonna go home. Yeah. Call me on your way there. He didn't call me. And two, when I woke up, it was 8 o'clock. So I missed. You know what I mean? So I'm not tripping. But they was trying to bring us out to honor as a local DC athletes.
Yep.
So Fred was there. I was supposed to be there.
B. Mitch. Yeah.
Porters was there. B. Mitch. Nice. Which I appreciate them. So hats off to them for acknowledging those guys who showed up.
Sports. The DMV should do that more.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
I appreciate it. I appreciate it just giving the opportunity, but sorry I couldn't make it.
All right, well, let's. I'm glad you had fun at the soccer game. Now let's talk about some football.
Yeah.
Right. So
real football.
Kind of big news coming out of this week is that a lot of these kind of big time running backs are not going to get the franchise tag. So you know, Saquon Barkley's not going to get it. Josh Jacobs, did he get it? No, not going to get it. Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, not going to get franchise tag. They're going to be free agents probably. Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel about that? Because you guys come from like a different era of football, where the running back was the guy. They were like the thing.
They was getting $20 million when I was, when I first came.
Stephen Davis was making bank,
and they were the guys that were the drivers of the offense. And so, how do you feel about seeing kind of this departure from that kind of traditional view of football?
It sucks. I think it sucks to me just knowing that you ask the running back to do a little more now. I mean, most of these guys are pass catchers as well. You know what I mean? You don't have too many. You don't have too many of these guys that's just coming in primarily on third down. You have most of your legit guys. Like if you look at this list of names, Saquon Barkley, Pollard last year was his first year having a full-time role. Yep. Derrick Henry could do both. Austin Eckler, all these guys can do both. Josh, all these guys are basically McCaffreys. You know what I mean? They can run the ball between the tackles, and you put them out there on any route, and they're dangerous. So when you look at that part of it and say, you asking these guys to say, okay, take less
Yeah.
and be happy, it's hard. And especially some of these guys are coming off their first contract.
Yeah.
So they getting ready to get the big money. And now you're saying that, you're not worthy of it. So I find it hard, but it's also one of the things about this game, the nature of the beast. You have to kind of roll with the punches. And but what I'm thinking when you saying okay, these guys are not going to get the $14 million. If they was franchised, they'd be worth around what, 14 million?
Yeah.
So you're saying that no team really willing to do that right now. They want them to take a deal. And so who's going to basically set it?
Set the bar.
See what I'm saying? Who's going to set the bar and say, okay, this is what we're worth? And that's when I think it's going to be kind of one of those things that's going to become a problem, because it might be a guy or two there. It might be the guy that set the bar, and the other guys feel like, nah, I'm worth more.
Yep.
So will we see these guys sit out? See, that's the thing that we're not asking.
Like hold out, you're saying?
No.
Yeah, hold out.
I doubt they'll hold out. But
That's what didn't Jonathan Taylor kind of do like a pseudo hold out
last year?
Yeah, kind of. But it's one of them things, we watched positions be devalued all the time. When we got in the NFL, running back was devalued, and they was devaluing wide receivers.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we see this trend all the time. But guess what? Come playoff, come cold games, guess who we handing the ball off to?
The running back.
Like come. If you want to win the Super Bowl, you can't just throw your way to it. You got to run your way to it. So at one point, I think Jonathan Taylor, did what we thought Saquon was gonna do, and not hold out. Be the standard.
Yeah.
Like McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor are the standard. Like, I think the best players in your league at their position set the tone for the position.
Sure.
Like, so Jonathan Taylor means so much to the coach that if they lose him, they go a different direction.
Yeah.
So to have that value and hold that value, I think the top guys at the position have to make that standard, and maybe the top guys not staying healthy, not doing it. That's making them say, I can find me a Pacheco.
But also with what Jonathan Taylor did last year, it shined the light in a different light, because Zach Moss went out there and was his backup and performed really well. Basically resurrected himself, because he hadn't had a first
Not in
or
Buffalo.
second year. You know what I mean? That was kind of holding up to what he was supposed to come in this league and be. So I can kind of honestly say that Jonathan Taylor, it was kind of surprising that they still went on and said, okay, we'll give you the deal you want. I'm not sure if that's the deal he really wanted, but they gave him something long term. But they could have backfired and went a different route.
But they also did that because they got a quarterback on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Like the teams that might need these guys, that one player away, how can they pay this guy when I'm paying Jalen Hurts $200 million?
Well, so I also think it's, Tana said a couple really good things, but one of the things he said is that you're asking running backs to do more, and I would argue that you're actually asking them to do less. And what I mean by that, you're asking them to do more in terms of catching the football, pass protect, but like think about like when you guys were in the league, like who was like the guy like at the running back?
Adrian James,
Priest Holmes,
Travis Henry.
So think about those guys. They're getting 30 touches a game, 35 touches a game. And right now, when you look around the league, the guys that get that kind of workload are Derrick Henry, and I think he's near the tail end of his career, Christian McCaffrey, and Nick Chubb.
Gotcha.
And so those guys, when you look at their contract values, I think no one would say they're getting paid too much. They're all making about $14, $15 million a year because of what they mean to their teams. But now I think, you mentioned the quarterback being a little bit more valuable. And Tana, you made the comparison to McCaffrey. Like McCaffrey drives that offense in San Francisco, right? He's catching the football. He's running the football. And when I look at these other names, right, I think you could maybe make an argument for Josh Jacobs, but does he drive it the same way that Derrick Henry does, the same way that Christian McCaffrey does? Tony Pollard, I think, struggled with that this year. Austin Eckler, I think he's on the tail end, didn't quite get it done from a running standpoint. Obviously catches a ton of balls. Saquon, again, a guy that's close, but I don't think is in that same tier.
Yeah.
So to me, when I look at it, I'm saying there's only 3 guys in the league that are playing like running backs were in 2001 when you guys came in the league. So in some ways, and those are the guys that are making the most money. It's just that the role for the running back is very different.
Yeah,
right?
you're right. I mean, that's a great point. That's a great way to even look at it. But what I was just saying is, not even if you're not the driver, you're not the guy that they're running the offense through. You're out there. You out there. You putting your body on the line. Whether you're getting 30 carries or 20, but the touches wise, you're getting 40 because they find a way to get you the ball in space and stuff like that. To me, that's what I'm trying to say. These guys have the same skill set of a McCaffrey, not the workload. Not the workload, but the same skill set.
That the standard is set by, like, say, the top 3 guys at each position.
Well, the offense has changed so drastically to where, you know, we used to those guys saying, okay, the game online, we're going to run this ball. Now, game online, we spread them out even more. We putting 4 wides up. We finding a way to get a tight end out there into the passing game and then making that running back be the last resort or something. So that's how I look at it. I'm looking at the game has changed, but why devalue these guys? Because your offense changed. They're still allowed to go out there and make a difference if you need to get in that kind of a game.
But also, when one position devalues, another position value goes up. I think the tight end position has been devalued over the time, and now it's going up.
Now it's going
up. So what I would say, this is a really interesting point about football just in general, I think over the last 20 years, is you're talking about devaluing positions. So think about it. Tight ends, I think, are getting devalued. Running backs are getting devalued. Receiver value is going up.
Skyrocket.
And I think when you look at college offenses, high school offenses, NFL offenses, the easiest player outside the quarterback to feature in an offense from a pass game standpoint is the quarterback. Yeah. And you look around the league, you say, oh, well, Kittle does a really good job of impacting, or Mark Andrews does a really good job of impacting, or name those 3 running backs we talked about. But all of those guys have a plan from the coordinator on how to utilize them. Like, I look at Kyle Pitts. He's one of the most talented guys I've ever evaluated coming out of college. Awesome. But Arthur Smith didn't have a plan, to use for maximizing him, right? So to me, it becomes a position that is now predicated on how my coordinator can utilize my skill set, as opposed to a receiver where it's like, I know how to do that. I'm very comfortable with maximizing that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Makes a lot of sense.
So, like, that's where I get to a point where it's like, if you're Kyle Shanahan, you have a great plan for Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. If you're the OC in Baltimore, you have a great plan for Mark Andrews. If you're Andy Reid, you have a great plan for Travis Kelce. But if you're one of these other guys, how do I use you?
All right, here go the great comparison. Who had the better running back in the Super Bowl? The 49ers. It's easy.
They did, yeah. All
right, but who had the better quarterback? The Kansas City Chiefs. Right. That allowed them to have a back that does a little less.
Enough, though.
Enough to get it done. So there go the value test right there. The value test is one cannot put me on his back like the other one can.
Bingo. And I often say the difference between that game was just a quarterback that been there before, that knows what to do when the time is on the line, to say, okay, all I need to make a couple of plays with my feet to keep us going, to get us in position, and the rest should be history. And that's how I look at that game. Because if you had to ask me who played to you the better game, it would have been San Fran. I feel like they played the best throughout that game. Just some key moments right there. They lost at the end.
Value right there to me. Position
and I think you mentioned Pacheco, and Tanny, you said this too about how they're out there all the time. But I do think running backs now are getting more specialized. And also I think Pacheco is the reason. And who's the backup running back in San Francisco? Elijah
Mitchell.
Right?
Yeah.
And Mitchell's a 6th-round pick. Pacheco's a 7th-round pick. Like Gus Edwards is on this list of our notable free agents. He's a 3rd-round pick, right?
Gus the bus.
You can find Chris Rodriguez is a great example, 3rd-round pick. Yeah. Brian Robinson, 3rd-round pick. And I'm looking at the draft this year. There's no Bijan Robinson
in this draft,
Jahmyr Gibbs, but there's a bunch of good football players. Yeah. So it's like, why do I need to mortgage money on a position that I can get for really cheap and have a really big impact on my team?
So my next question would be is, whenever one of these guys, the top guys, get signed, what would be the line in the sand when it comes to their, what the value should be?
That's a great question. And so for me, I guess I'll go first.
Go.
If I'm an offensive coordinator and I have a plan for this player, like let's say I'm Derrick Henry, right? And I really want Derrick Henry. And I've built my team around having a power running back.
Physical.
Let's say like Dallas might be an example of this. I'm going to be willing to pay him a significant amount of money to get him in there because it's part of my offensive identity. And I have a vision for how to maximize his skill set, right?
All right.
Or let's say who else is on this list? Like
Josh Jacobs,
again, more of a power back. But let's say Saquon Barkley, I think is a better example. Let's say I want to use him the way they use Christian McCaffrey. And he's going to be a slot receiver. He's going to be a back.
He can do it all.
Mismatched weapon. We're going to get to empty with him. We're going to hit him with screens. He's going to get 50% of our touches.
Yeah.
And I go back to what Kyle did with Christian McCaffrey. They gave up a ton of draft capital. They gave him a contract extension. Everyone thought they were out of their minds. But he had a plan.
Yeah.
And so if I'm a coordinator or a coaching staff or a GM and I've got a vision for for that player with that type of dynamic athletic skill set,
yeah,
I'm going to pay him $15 million.
Let's find the perfect fit, because when you said Saquon Barkley, the first thing came to my head, what would be the overall, like, ooh, now they can dominate.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Shanahan's offense.
Yeah.
With my guy in Miami. Let's say we put Saquon Barkley a part of that Miami offense.
Be awesome.
I think he turns the page for them.
But the problem is,
but you got Moist in them.
They got Moster. They got A-Chain, right? And A-Chain is a guy.
A-Chain is woo.
I just said he go to perfect.
Yeah. But I agree with you. But I'm saying, like, that's the thing. Is like Moster was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
A-Chain was a second round pick.
Yeah.
And you just, like, when you look at the running back position, there are so many good players.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That just come into the draft, come into the league every year, and you're like, look at the running back for the LA Rams, Williams, the guy from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Everyone, he was a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And he almost led the league in rushing.
Is this simple?
So basically what's going on right now is most of these guys who are coming in these great situations.
Yeah.
'Cause these offenses are basically allowing them to exploiting their true natural talents.
Yeah.
They setting the market, basically.
Yeah.
They're actually saying that I could just get on the team and be dynamic within this offense, and that's the market, because I don't necessarily have to be that every down, bulldozer, come in here and be talented on the outside and the inside.
Is this similar to what happened in the NBA? I remember when I looked at a center in the NBA, and they looked more like Shaq and Big Perk.
And now it's
because of the overseas, the way they taught to play as big men, I need to be able to shoot, I need to be able to dribble. Now they all look like Chet Holmgren and look like Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Like so it's when it changes, I think when the game changes, because I really do think when it comes to playoff, we go right back to the running game.
Yeah, no, 100%. You need it. It's still important. You look at teams, every team in the playoff, I don't think it's a coincidence, was very effective at running the football.
Yeah.
Look at the Detroit Lions. They've got Montgomery, who is a very good player for them.
Yeah.
He was a 4th round pick, right? There's just so many guys available. James Conner for Arizona is a guy, 3rd round pick, like that are. You don't have to invest a lot of draft capital. You don't have to invest a lot of money, and it's hard. It's hard to find guys like that. I think that are like these that have roles where they need to be top end players, if that makes sense.
I think just it ain't enough special running backs to set the tone. I think it needs to be like 7 of them for them to really say, here go our value. I think if we look in the league right now, it's about 5 of them.
I think he made a valid point, man. It's going to be guys that offenses allow them to be special. Then they're gonna say, I'm gonna pay him that because of that. Right. And then it's gonna be guys, it's gonna be teams that's gonna say, well, I don't need him to be McCaffrey or Henry. So this is all I need him to be, is to be back there in the backfield. So that's just his rate.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is specifically running back is so predicated on your offensive line and blocking surface in general, and utilization. So like I look at Philly as a great example. Like you could put any running back there. Yeah. Damn near I could play running back for them, because they just do such a good job of creating space.
Great job.
So
best offensive line in football.
I'm going to deleverage that position. But then I look at San Fran, and they've paid Christian McCaffrey. They're not able to pay the offensive line the same because Christian McCaffrey makes guys miss. He elevates them, and it's very hard to find that dynamic. So I think it's an interesting evolution of the position of the game. Yeah. But I think ultimately that's why we're not seeing those guys make a ton of money. There's good players coming out in college, and the nature and the role of the position has changed.
Wide open.
Just a reminder you, we're brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe every sport should be epic. Right now, new customers can choose between 2 offers when they open an account at Bet365. Use the QR code to sign up, deposit 10, and choose between either. First bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $1,000. If your qualifying bet loses, you receive a match refund in bonus bets. Or bet and get offer and place a bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders.
Must be 21 and older and physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and need help, call Fred at 1-800-GAMBLER.
I need help.
So in addition to running backs, you said something there that I thought was really interesting, and it's about quarterbacks. And we got the NFL Combine coming up.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of guys, a lot of kind of big name quarterbacks, like for drafts. We got Caleb Williams, Jane Daniels, Drake May, and then there's that kind of second tier guys, the Bo Nixes, the Michael Penix.
First of all, I want to say this: shame on Mary Hodges. Shame on Mara Hodge. Did you not hear what Mara Hodge said?
About Caleb, yeah.
No, he said about Drake May.
What he said?
No.
He said that he felt like Drake May wasn't a first-round draft pick, and they are ripping him apart on sports shows.
Merrill Hodges said that about Drake May, and he also said that thing about Caleb.
Yes.
What he said about?
Yes.
What is this guy
What he said about
doing?
Caleb, though? What he said about Caleb?
He said Caleb Williams is not special.
Yes.
Lord
like, Merrill Hodge could be the hater. I thought it was Mel Kiper. But I think if your name Merrill, if it's even close, hate is in your blood.
Yeah, we got to fact check this.
Like, even Hasselbeck got on TV and said, come on, Merrill. Like, let's not do this.
He's also, I saw someone, because he came out with the thing about Caleb, and he came out with the thing about Drake, and everyone was like, this guy is the worst quarterback evaluator.
He wanted clickbait, man. That's what it is. That got to be clickbait.
It's working.
And he said it on the Junkies.
Did he?
Yesterday.
He said Drake May is not special.
He said Drake May
is not a first-round pick.
He said he's not a first-round pick. He's not as athletic as you think he. I say, yes, he's 235 pounds, 6'4", running like he runs. That's an athlete.
Look like he athletic to me.
Look like he athletic to me. I don't see what, like, this is why I hate this time of year. Like, when you go through the combine, when you go through the draft process, they are not looking for reasons to draft you. They're looking for reasons not to.
Yeah, they're looking for reasons to bring your value down.
It's just such a terrible time for athletes to sit here and listen to non-athletes tell them they can't play.
Though. I mean, we all go through that. When they get closer, they have a guy that's going to sit out there and basically pick at everything about your game so it can lower your value, just so that team that wanted you in the first round can get you for a little cheaper. It goes on every year.
It's terrible. I think you try to tear people down with this stuff.
Jason, you got it?
Especially after I done went out there and showed the world what I could do. You know what I mean? I mean, to me, the proof is always in the pudding.
Yeah.
If I put it on film, view me as that dude. Whatever I put on tape, view me as him. You would say that after all that?
Also, I think this is really relevant because we're going to talk about guys who are... First, Jason, you got it? I want to hear what he said. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Should I do it as hater?
Yes, hater Jason. Hate.
All right, there are a bunch of things that bother me. He's talking about Drake.
Okay, every prospect, things bother me.
Every prospect.
That's all right.
Here's the list. He's extremely inconsistent.
Okay,
His accuracy and processing are inconsistent. He misses hot routes. He's not extremely athletic, and I find him stiff. He's got a large throwing motion, which allows more hits in our league than he would have in college, and I'm just bothered.
Lord have mercy.
Now, it look like he just bothered because his wife kicked him out. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like he woke up and chose violence.
Yeah.
Like, it woke up and just hate.
Drake may dated his daughter or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's funny. Those things bother me too, though.
Yeah.
But there's also, like you're saying, Tanner, there's also like a whole another bucket of stuff that offsets that. And I think that's the thing. Fans, if you're listening to this, please heed this. There are things you can find wrong with every single person.
It ain't no such thing as a perfect prospect.
Because remember, it's not a one-to-one. The NFL and college football are not the same, right? It's a projection. So you're projecting how this guy is going to be. Same thing with Jayden Daniels. Do I think they're both good football players? Yes. Who's going to be the better pro? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
And the problem is the NFL has no idea either.
No clue.
They're terrible at it.
No clue.
So in the spirit of this, of picking things that guys are not good at, we've got the quarterbacks we're talking about. Jayden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., and possibly Drake May are not doing anything outside of the interviews at the combine. If you were first reaction to that, does it matter? Is it a big deal? I have my thoughts.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I've been in those shoes. I mean, when you have the kind of leverage that most of those guys have, back when I did it in 01, the pro day wasn't as big as it is now. The it thing. Your pro day wasn't the it thing. It was like, come to the combine. Oh, I remember having the guys in my ear, some of those scouts. Well, this is the only time you're going to get to see me. Well, this is the only time I'm going to get to compare you against all these other guys. Well, I don't know if I'm coming back down to Miami. And I'm sitting up there like, well, you're going to miss the show. You know what I mean? But it was leverage. It was all about leverage. You know, so we had designated a safe, I guess you could say a safe haven that we could come here and strut our stuff because we was that kind of a team. And everybody's going to come down. Miami. And all our things that we did testing wise was already graded because of other guys from other schools that have come and who don't get invited to the combines. They was coming doing their pro days at our school. So when we knew that we was approved by the NFL to use these measurements from 40, from the vertical jump, all that stuff. We're like, okay, so why would we go to the combine? We go to combine, we'll talk,
do the interviews,
blah, blah, blah. And then we'll come here and do the same stuff that these other guys who wasn't allowed to go to to the combine, who took their test here. And that's why we did it. But now, everyone has a pro day, so why is it a big problem? You know?
Yeah, and I think like to Tana's point, I think that's exactly right. Like, so at the combine, like, Jason and I have gone the last couple of years. I never gone as a player, but I have guys that go, like guys that I've trained that go, and it is not set up for you to be physically successful.
No,
it's not.
And so what I mean by that is like they'll keep you up until 10:30 at night doing interviews. I got to go to the hospital, get my MRI. It's 11, 12 o'clock.
Forget the MRI. I got to go get like pints of blood, take it for my bone marrow check, and then you're going to give me some chocolate and tell me to run a 40. And I'm not doing that.
Or take a long, thick-ass book test and then tell me, all right, now go out here and run. Like, my mind gone, man. I ain't ready to go run.
So they don't care about your performance there. No. I mean, they want the number. They want the information. But, like, I remember I've been talking to my guys last year or 2 years ago, the tight end guys that I was working with, and I was like, oh wait, so they got you. It was 11 o'clock at night, and they were just getting out of their physical.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what do you got tomorrow? You gonna be able to sleep in a little bit? They're like, no, I got to get up at 7 o'clock because I got to go back to the hospital. And I was like, what? And then I'm like, then you're gonna do then. So the way this is 2 years ago. Then you had to bench press before you ran your 40, which I would never do. So why even risk not putting your best foot forward, especially if you've got the leverage, right?
Yeah.
If you're
the top 3 in your position coming out, at the combine, I did all my interviews.
You should. That's important.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, my age was like, it ain't nothing you need to do. Yeah. Your film speak for itself.
So like for Marvin Harrison Jr., for example, when you watch the film, if I'm his agent, I'm like, the only thing that can happen if you go
is go down.
Is bad.
Bad.
Is you run a 4.5 and then you're not as fast as people think, and Malik Neighbors comes out and runs a 4.2.
And Rome, Doomsday, come out and run a 4.4.
And so, this reminds me of like last year or 2 years ago with Drake London. Like everyone wanted Drake London to run.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not going to run. And everyone's like, he might be slow. And it's like, you can either think he's slow or he can actually run and then he's slow.
Yeah.
So why do I want that? And it's like he was still a top 12 pick, right?
Yeah.
He was a second receiver taken, which I'm okay with, right?
Yeah.
But if he goes out and runs a 4.6, he might not go in the first round.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what you're talking about. So why even bother?
Risk reward.
And we're talking about a select group of guys here.
Yeah.
Like, this is if I'm telling Marvin Harrison, the cleanest receiver evaluation I've ever had. You're going to be a good pro.
Don't do anything.
But if you're Keon Coleman from Florida State,
go do
or
it.
Johnny Wilson, you gotta go.
Ryan Thomas Jr.
Put a show.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, right. Go put on a show and like move up the board, right?
Yeah.
Show people that you got value. And so for the quarterbacks, let's talk about them real quick. I mean, to me, it's like obvious. Like, don't do it, right?
I mean, I think so too. When it comes to the quarterbacks, they want more of those guys to give you guys something to do, who's sitting there watching in the stands.
Yeah.
Because the more quarterbacks we have there, especially premier guys, we get to see what these guys got going on, and we're not just up here talking about where we're finna go have a drink at later on. You know what I mean? Because I see those quarterbacks, man, and to me, honestly, I pay close attention to the draft more so now than I did back when I was playing.
Yeah.
But bro, I would refuse to sit there and be waiting in line after all these other guys just so you can grade me. That ain't how you gonna really get graded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not a true assessment on what I'm gonna be as a player. You see what I'm saying?
And it goes back to that thing, like you're looking for things to pick at. Like as an evaluator, like when we go like last year, all the quarterbacks threw because it wasn't a very good year. And so you got to see Will Levis throw after Stroud, after Richardson, right? And you were like,
Bryce Young,
Richardson's not very accurate, or Will Levis doesn't layer throws. And you're like, oh, and it was really it was really easy to go like, oh, like this is great. But ultimately, it's not about me. It's about the kid, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I always say, grade me. How you grade me? Because 40, that's all fine. Bench press, that's all fine. I was looking the other day, and they showed the highest bench presses of all time. One guy did 50
They're all
plus
bad
times.
football players.
They was all bad football players. Wow. Like, I looked down the list, and I said, now one of these guys ain't have a career. Forget being a Pro Bowler. Ain't have a... Turn on some film. Like, I'm so tired of everybody wants to test you about how fast you are. Are you a football player is the only thing that matters to me.
Same way with the guys who hasn't performed for 4 years or a few years that runs fast 40s. Like, I've always found it, like, alarming that you go and say, because this guy ran 4.1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump him in front of all these guys who have better film.
Yes.
Like, honestly, he ran 4.1 before he got here.
Yeah. He was
show
running
me on the tape him running
season.
Show me on tape him keeping up with a guy or pass. Show me that on film. So that's one of the things I talk about. I love the fact that when I went to the University of Miami, everyone came from the pros. Yeah. All the coaching staff prepared us as we was professionals. They told us what to be ready for. They told us, like, we got ready to run our routes. We round every route in college. Our tree was all round. CJ say, okay, here's the route tree for the league. We gonna come out our breaks. I mean, he basically made us stop doing what we did for 4 years and said, this is how they're gonna grade you. So now we had to plant and go sharp out of everything. But when we got there to the thing, the guy like, oh, give me a round. I just went and did all this other stuff. But we was prepared. You see what I'm saying? So that's
cool.
why
That's
I say
cool they did that, by the way.
I look at certain things and I'm like, man, these guys were so much, more than just good coaches, because they had us prepared for everything that the pros was going to want to see from us. And when you get a guy out there, he goes bonkers in a damn workout. Yeah. Oh man, turn the film on.
He deserved to be at Gold's Gym. Yeah. Like, that's what Gold's Gym full of these guys. Like, I have something that just solidifies everything we're talking about. I didn't work out at the Combine, I worked out at Mississippi State. Everybody know the old legend of Fred Smoot doing the bench press one time. I did the bench press one time with these long arms, and I racked it. Yeah. And I told him, you ain't come here for a bodybuilder. You came here for a football player. Follow me. Yeah. I went out there, ran my drills, backpedal, ran my 40. Oh, now you slobbing at the mouth, because now you see that on grass, that's where I belong, not in your weight room. So at the end of the day, I always ask guys, do you want guys that's pretty getting off the bus, or you want guys that's pretty for 4 quarters?
And just to get everybody calmed down a little bit, most scouts you talk to, 85, 90% of it is the film. Like, it's the majority of that is the film. The thing that Combine does is it lets you know the athlete a little bit better. Like, I think Quan is a good example, right? Like, this is, he didn't run a super fast 40, but his vertical was like 44 inches. His broad jump was good. So you're like, even though he's not maybe the fastest guy, he's explosive.
He can jump and get himself out of trouble.
And that's supported by the film. Yeah. The thing is, when you see someone really fast and you're like, that wasn't supported on the film, maybe go back and watch it. It's like Traylon Burks last year or 2 years ago. Yeah. Like, everyone thought he was going to run a 4.3. He comes out and runs like a 4.6 or something, right? It wasn't very good. And so everyone goes like, oh, and that's a good part of the process, because when you look at him in the league, he has a hard time separating because he didn't have the juice. Keneal Harry ran like a 4.6, like 5, right? Gonna have a hard time separating. And so that's where you use that as kind of like, let me go back and just double check the film. Yeah. Does it support this, what I'm seeing here, or is he okay? Like, and now teams, this is the other thing. Teams have so much GPS data from the pads. Yeah. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr., he hit 23 miles an hour last year, or 22 miles an hour, 22.5. So I know he's fast in the field. Yeah. And so, again, if I'm Marvin Harrison,
ain't nothing for me to prove.
There's no reason to
do anything.
Go back and do that. Yeah. So, I mean, there are benefits. And again, I talk about benefits of doing it at the pro day. For me, just thinking about it, it's like I can sleep in my own bed, get my own quarterback to throw to me, right? I'm not in the
comfortable environment.
Yeah, I'm not at the combine where I'm like in line waiting for my one rep from a quarterback that I've never caught a ball from in my life.
Who's throwing heat? Yeah, and he's supposed to be throwing a short 10-yard route
because he's trying to show off his arm. He's trying to show stuff off too. So to me, it's just like if you've got the clout to do it at your pro day. Yeah. And you're not like again, I think top 3 is a really good number there. Yeah. Right. If you're not one of those top 3 guys, like, just live your best life. But you guys don't know this, but we will be at the Combine, Ticket of the Draft podcast, which is on this podcast network. We will give you all the insight. We'll kind of go over all this drill work, and we'll give you the context that you want. Say, is this relevant to the film? Is this not relevant to the film? And kind of give that insight. Because there's guys that aren't going to test well, like Latu from UCLA, not going to test well. Yeah. I don't really care because his film's awesome.
First, I've been saying, like, I don't care. Like, it's certain stuff, like my homeboy Antonio Pierce did not get drafted our year when we came out. One of the best linebackers in our draft. Why? He didn't run well. Yeah. He did not run well, but you can't test his mental.
Reggie Wayne ran a 4.6.
Did he really?
And everybody was trying. He was trying his hardest to get it to be a 4.5, 11 or 4.5. And I remember CJ, our receiver coach. He just did a podcast, and I was listening to him. And he was like, "I'm just gonna be honest with you. Reggie ran a 4.6, but that ain't that." I told Reggie. Jerry Rice ran a 4.6, so don't be mad about that. You know what I mean? And you look at Reggie Wayne's career. I'm like, Reggie, we didn't know you as a fast guy anyway. You caught a BB in the dark every game. You can catch better than anybody in the game. So that's what you grade with certain guys.
Yeah.
You won't come into that combine or come into that pro day and say, I'm not looking for him to be speed runner. I'm looking for him to show me everything that I saw on film now in this form.
The interview, the gauntlet drill. The other thing I want to just point this for young receivers, for guys coaching track, when you're running a 40, you're running a track, right?
Yeah.
And your feet get really narrow, right? They get right under your hips. That's the whole idea, right? We're trying to gain ground vertically into that drill. If you look at good route runners, they run with their feet a little farther apart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's not maximal velocity.
And me as a DB, I don't
direction.
ever run like a track guy. I'm a chaser.
Yes,
I chase
different.
the Santana Mosses of the world. Show me you have the ability to chase, and I'll show you a good defensive back.
100%. And you mentioned Antonio Pierce, and this leads perfectly into our next segment, which is a 2001 NFL redraft.
It is
and Antonio
redraft.
Pierce was in that draft, right, along with two other guys, namely
It is I.
It is I and Fred Smoot, right?
And I am him.
And so we're going to redraft it. And so basically we were like, oh, let's pick one quarterback, one pass catcher, one defensive player, and then two wild cards. The problem is there's not like that many good quarterbacks.
Never is in a draft. Like this is hey, we got 3 quarterbacks at the top of this draft this year. Plus you got Bo Nix, Michael Penix. You got guys.
JJ.
You got Rattler.
The Rattler.
Yeah, you got guys in this draft. Like that's why I tell people. Drafts are up and down, man. And I can say this about my 01 draft, special.
Yeah.
Special, a lot of talent.
Well, and I think, it just shows you, like, some of these guys, like Antonio Pierce is on this list we got.
Yeah.
Undrafted player, right?
Yeah.
Tim Hasselbeck, undrafted player, was a solid pro for a couple of years. And I think Steve Smith, where was he drafted? You remember?
Second round.
Second round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like, the good football players
Chad and
that...
Chad didn't go to what, the third?
No, Jay went second. He went second round too.
Okay.
Chad a little before Steve.
So for rules, let's do this. So we're going to do a snake draft. And the snake draft is we go down the list.
Yeah.
The person at the end gets to go twice, right?
Yep.
And then we go back the other way. So in terms of how we're going to start this, we flipped a coin, or I just did this in my
I
head.
thought we were going left to right.
Nah, we're going to flip a coin.
Jason says pick a number.
1.
1 and 20?
1 and 3.
1 and 10.
Oh. 2.
3. God damn.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So how we going? This way?
Yeah, so.
Why do I feel like that just was the most rottenest thing I ever seen on live TV?
So for me, I get to go first. I'm picking a quarterback because there aren't that many good ones.
Lord have
I'm
mercy.
going to get out of the way. I feel really good about this. Drew Brees.
Oh, my God.
Second round player. Hall of Famer. Let's get him in the building, man. He's going to set our culture. We're feeling really good about it. I love that.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm going quarterback right behind you.
Have you ever met Drew Brees, by the way?
Yes. We classmates. We
I know.
went to play ball. Man.
I was supposed to go to Purdue with Drew Brees.
Yes.
Really?
In college, yep.
Yeah. Drew is a great dude. Now, he
Crazy.
did have a squirrel growing out his face.
Yeah.
That is a true thing.
Yeah.
But also, sneaky small.
Squirrel.
Sneaky small guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, he's not big at all.
Because I remember when we play against New Orleans, you see him do his like crazy comprehensive warm up where he does like a live 2-minute before every game.
Calisthenics.
Yeah. And he like does you'll see him point through his reads and he's very detailed, but you're like, that's Drew Brees.
He's the nerds of all nerds at quarterback. Like I thought Kirk was one of those nerds. But Drew was like,
Drew,
you watch
nerd
him warm up, you be like, oh yeah, he's a nerd.
Purdue.
He knows the game. Like it's like, you know, he can probably close his eyes and know who to hit the hot read. You know what I mean? Like he was just one of those guys. I love watching him. And people fail to realize, man, how good he was in San Diego.
Yeah.
Like, he was
I
very
got a
good.
chance to go against those guys when they was real good. LaDainian Thomas, he was there, and Drew was there. All in our draft class.
Yeah.
It was 2004 playoffs, first round. I was with the Jets.
Yeah.
We go to San Diego. I love playing in San Diego.
Me too.
For some reason, I used to go.
It was my first game ever.
I had I had a punt return in San Diego year 2. But we go up there. It's no way we gonna beat these guys. They are on a high.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego Chargers are playing well. You got Breeze. You got LT.
Yeah.
And we won.
Yeah.
I guess who was
Did he
covering
get hurt
me?
that game?
Jammer. I'm not sure. Nah, he didn't get hurt that game. I had Jammer covering me at corner.
Quinn Jammer, Texas.
I had 100 and something yards. I had a touchdown that game. It was like one of those games I'll never forget because I tweaked my hamstring on the Wednesday going into the practice.
You're always tweaking your
Bro,
hamstring.
I
That's
told
what
you,
fast
that's
dudes
what-
do.
bro.
I know.
Yeah.
And I tweaked my hamstring Wednesday, and I remember the coaching staff disgusted. We played Saturday, and I'm sitting there like, bro, how the hell I'm gonna go out here and play? And to the grace of God, boy, I went out there and put on a show. I mean, I got a device that day, and I made sure I massaged it and did everything I could do. But no, it's one of those games I remember.
So y'all.
So I'm going second since he got Drew Brees.
I just always get the.
And I have to take Mike Vick, which I don't have no problem with doing so.
Vic, yeah.
You know, if I was a receiver on this team, I'd have probably a problem because Mike was throwing that ball entirely too hard early in his career. But I'm gonna take Mike Vick.
All right, who you going with?
Well,
you get 2 picks.
I do, right?
Oh, so I get 2 or Fred gets 2?
Fred gets 2 because it's snake.
All right. I ain't got to go quarterback because y'all went, right?
No.
I choose with my number 1 pick, LaDainian Thomas.
Dude, I love that one. He was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And people like how dominant he was.
He was just a running back. Whatever you needed him to do, he could get it. It's smooth.
But also, we were talking about running backs earlier. Like he's the guy that kind of set the
market for his group,
but also set the market and set the standard for the new running backs. Right?
Yeah.
The way he caught the football, the way he could beat a linebacker in one-on-one coverage. Like dude was special in that way.
All right, and my next pick, I choose Fred Smoot from the University of Mississippi State. These 2 guys, him and LaDainian, got MVP of the Senior Bowl together, so I had to merge them back together right there. All right, I'm looking at talent level.
That seems a little high. Like it seems a little high for Smoot.
I understand, but you just said it's all about what value you see in the talent.
It's true. It's true. So, Tanner, what you got?
What's your goal now? All right.
No, it's you. We're going back, so we kind of...
Okay, so we going pass catcher, so I'm going to pick myself.
I actually was going to pick you, so...
See, I'm going Tanner Man himself.
Because Santana in today's NFL...
really works.
That would be so sick.
Yeah, man. Dude. I mean, I got it's crazy because I look at this draft group of wide receivers. It's 2 guys that we don't have on there who went before me. Is your boy from Chicago, David Terrell, and my man from Seattle,
Corn Robinson,
which was exceptionally,
Corn
was great receivers.
Yep.
David Terrell's career didn't pan out to be what it was. He went to Chicago.
Yep.
But the reason why I bring this up because if you want to go back, don't quote me, just go back and look it up. I was told when I was coming out that if I was taller,
Robinson height.
No, if I was taller, I would have been the first receiver taken in that class. So
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9.5", on a good day 5'10". So I say 5'10", but I'm about 5'9.5". So I look back at it, I'm like, it's crazy because different strokes for different folks. If you look at where I'm going at, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I was taller, would I be going to Chicago?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Would I be going to Seattle? So I'm just saying, I went to New York, and that wasn't all that good, but it's all about where you place, man. It's all about where you land.
Yeah.
And you look at some of these careers, man, for Chad to be, in Cincy, that was a great spot for him to start.
Great spot for him.
For Steve to go to Carolina, that was a great spot.
It's fit. That's
Reggie to go to the Colts. That was a perfect spot. So it's all about where you land, man.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Tanner, because everyone's talking about these draft picks, and we talked about for 2024, right?
Yeah.
The draft this year, and who's the better prospect in this, but the kind of the bigger issues, the fit and the plan. You know what I mean? And I think this list shows you that. To a T there. So am I picking now?
Yeah, it's your pick.
Okay, so I'm glad you picked yourself, by the way, because I was on the fence. It was between you and Steve Smith, so you made it pretty easy for me. So I'm going to go Steve Smith.
All right.
Feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, you should.
The Fred Smoot killer.
Yeah, the Fred Smoot killer. Because if we're in the same division, I need a guy that can just crush Fred.
Hey, first of all, let's get that done. I played against Steve around 10 times.
He gonna out-talk Fred too, which is
tough.
No, I played Steve like 8 times. Out of the 8 times, he got me one game.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, dog. Tell him, Fred.
He shredded me one game.
Yeah.
What about the other 7?
But it's so crazy. That's the game that we all was paying attention to. Because he was talking so much that game. I was like, wow.
Not mad at you, Steve Smith.
Yeah, not mad.
But now I'm a 1-up it.
No, I got to pick again.
He get 2.
It's a snake draft, dude. Have you ever done a snake draft?
You are a snake.
All right, I'm going to go with my auxiliary pick here, which is kind of your wild card, and I'm going to go Steve Hutchinson, who's maybe the best offensive lineman.
I played with Hutch in Minnesota.
Maybe the best offensive lineman in history in the NFL.
Okay, so now I'm
like that.
Dude, he's
Hutchinson was that dude.
Pretty gosh darn good.
He was.
When you look at him compare, and maybe it's because he was playing at a time where he was so far ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does today.
Yeah.
He probably maybe is a little bit more normal, but he was like the best guard in football for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't even close. It was like kind of like Trent is now with offensive tackles. That's how he was. Then he played with Walter Jones, right, in Seattle.
In Seattle, but in Minnesota, he played with Big Mac McKinney.
Dude,
Big Mac was
like,
the
he
truth.
just passing, just going from good tackle to good tackle. So I think he's great. So that's to me, he's the best player available remaining.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Steve Hutchinson.
Okay, now it's to me.
Is it?
Yeah,
Calm
dude,
your
it's
nerves.
a snake draft.
Calm your nerves. Is that it? Bat, 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 bat.
You get 2 though.
So I'm going with next would be Richard Seymour.
Ooh.
I think you know you need defense in this game. I mean, can't just pick all these offensive guys.
You right about it.
You know, so Seymour's a guy that I thought highly of. Watched him a lot in college. Got into the pros, and I saw him twice a year. I was with the Jets. He was in New England, and this dude dominated from the start. I mean, it was no question why.
No question.
It was no question why, to me, that New England Patriots, them earlier Super Bowls, you got to credit the defense and the kicking game more to Tom Brady. But Tom got him there.
Yeah.
But they won those games with kicking field goals, and that defense was just stout. And he was one of the reasons why.
Don't forget about his running partner in college, Big Marcus Stroud.
Oh, Marcus Stroud, yeah.
That's part of our draft.
Marcus Stroud, yeah.
That's part of our draft, too.
Yeah, he was a
Tennessee.
he
No,
was
where
a
did he go to
beast.
school?
No, he went to Georgia.
He went to Georgia.
They was on the same defense.
That's crazy.
And they had Kendra Bell at linebacker.
Played in
I'm
Jacksonville.
thinking of E.J. Henderson, right?
Yeah.
He went to Tennessee.
Yeah. No, EJ Henderson went to Maryland.
No, the who's the defensive tackle for Jacksonville?
Oh, you talking about John Henderson?
You talking about John Henderson?
All right.
But you know those two big son of a,
Yeah. All right, with my next pick,
this is gonna
I
be
choose
crazy.
a brother from my own heart, Mr. Chad Ocho
That's a
Cinco
great pick. I like
Johnston.
That's a great one. I knew you was
All
gonna
right,
get it.
that's who I want, Silky Johnson himself. All right, taking him off the market.
Yeah.
Got my wide out. I know eventually I'm going to have to pick a quarterback. All right?
But you don't do it now, though, because no one's going to pick a quarterback. Because you can pick it with your last pick, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So now with my next pick, considering that most of the Hall of Famers are gone, I choose my running mate, my immortal enemy. We was enemies in high school. We went to rival colleges. It was Deuce for Heisman. It was Schmoot for Heisman.
Deuce McAllister.
Deuce McAllister.
Dude, I love that pick.
That's a great
I love
pick.
that pick.
Now Deuce could return punts.
Where do you go to school?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
yeah.
Okay.
Him, Ken Lucas, all them, Terrence Metcalf, DK Metcalf daddy. All of them was on the same team.
He played O-line though, right?
Yes. He was
Terrence.
O-lineman. Yes.
Dude, that's crazy, dude. That's a solid little group right there, bud.
Well,
But
actually,
you have two running backs though, right?
yeah, it is. But I must say this for my Mississippi people. That year, coming out of Mississippi, 12 of us got drafted off Mississippi, Ole Miss, and USM
Why would you
team.
get two running backs though?
Well, I got to get the players out because I ain't got no quarterback. I'm going to have to run the ball.
But LT's too good to pass up.
Too good to pass
Jason,
up.
what you got?
I got a question, Fred.
Yeah.
All right, you have any stories of you and Chad going at it with each other? Because you're both big personalities, right?
It's a story going. It's a clip.
Yeah.
That they've been playing for the last couple of months.
That when we, like me and Chad, I can say this about Chad. Chad is a fun trash talker.
Yeah.
Like you got some guys that's serious.
Yeah.
Then you got some
Like
guys.
Steve was serious.
Serious. He ready to fight coming
he
out the
ready to
locker room. Chad
is
more
funny.
jokingly.
Yeah, he just joking.
Like me. So I remember when we was at the Senior Bowl. I keep hearing these chirps on the other end because Bill Cowher is my head coach. And he like, it's a guy over there working people named Chad Johnson. You want to go over? I like, Coach, I got my bag with me, baby. So they took me from the South practice, brought me to the North practice so me and Chad could do one-on-ones with each other. We could do team drill with each other.
Who won? Who was better?
You're looking at the king.
I didn't even need to ask the question.
Hey, but I can
You
say
know he's
this.
gonna say him anyway.
I can say this. Coming out of cuts, ain't nobody quicker than Chad.
Nah, man.
Come like he could.
True.
His feet, man.
Man, his feet are unbelievable, man.
Nah,
like
his feet is
I'm
real,
sorry,
bro.
like he has feet of a ballet dancer.
Now, I will say, I don't like tooting my horn, but I turned
was
the
about to
film.
say-
I would say this about Chad though. He emphasized his. I just did it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when it came to just doing stuff at the line of scrimmage,
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that. Chad was the best at the line of scrimmage. I ain't seen too many guys.
I guess he was like the first guy that I remember, like to your point, that actually did
all the stuff that they tell you to do. Like,
yeah, but he don't run routes.
Yeah.
That go to kicker about.
Yeah.
He get to spots.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're chasing him, this route could be this, but he gonna get to the point where he gonna get the ball.
I mean, that's how Travis Kelce does it now.
Oh, yes. Just like
that relationship with the quarterback is so important. Who you got, Tana?
My next pick is none other than my road dog. We back together, Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, I've been saying, I thought you were going to go Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I got to go back to Reggie Wayne, man. Talking about guy catching the BB in the dog. Reggie one of those guys, you know, he's up for the Hall of Fame the last, 4-5 years?
Yeah.
He'll get his call.
Yeah, he'll get his call.
I know deep down inside Reggie pissed, but look, man.
It's eating him alive.
Arguably right now, top 10? You know what I mean? I think he's top 10 when it comes to all those guys up there now. I think he's 9. No, matter of fact, he's 9. And if I'm not mistaken, Andre is 10. And Andre got called before him.
I know they hurt him so bad.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a little different. And I'm not the guy to tell you who should get picked for the Hall of Fame or not, because I don't understand how they do it.
Yeah.
But when you look at all the players and you look at who Dre had, but it was just him. So I guess that's why they gave him a nod. But Reggie going to be in there without a doubt, and it'll be good to say if we ever played again together. It probably wouldn't be good because I know Reggie, he ain't want to share that ball most of the time. And he played with a guy who ain't want to share the ball with him and Marvin Harrison. So it was funny.
He met himself.
It was funny to see that he went to a guy that treated him like he treated me.
Yeah.
But I would love to get a guy like Reggie off the,
So I get two, and this will be the last round, right, Jason?
Your last two picks.
So I need help, guys. Best defensive player from your class, because this is where I wanted to pick Fred, but Fred picked himself in the first round.
Archuleta. Adam Archuleta.
No.
I'm saying he was one of the best.
No, so I'm saying, but like, is there a guy on this list that we're not thinking of? Because you mentioned.
Oh, you talking about like in all?
Chris Jenkins,
Dan Morgan.
Who's he, the linebacker?
Linebacker for Carolina.
Ken Lucas.
He's a GM now for Carolina.
Yeah,
I mean he's a GM.
What's the name? Middle linebacker, Kendrell Bell.
Who else? I'm thinking about defensive guys.
So who's better,
Adrian Wilson,
Chris Jenkins, or Sean Rogers?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's a great one.
Chris got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt, but his peak was better
than Sean's. But Sean just played at the same level for a long time.
We ain't put your boy in there too, safety from Cowboys.
Which one?
Oh, Roy.
No, Roy came out a year after us.
Yeah. Roy was with us, wasn't he?
No, Roy came out a year after us.
I remember Adrian.
I thought he was with us.
Adrian Wilson.
Adrian Wilson.
Adrian Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was good.
I think
he played in Arizona all them years.
I'm gonna go Sean Rogers, I think, here. I don't love that pick, but I think it's gonna fill a need. He's gonna be healthy for a long time.
Yeah.
Get some edge rushers later in the draft.
You got one more, right?
That's we got one more?
Yeah.
Then I'm going Adrian Wilson. Boom. Problem solved.
Hey, Adrian Wilson, beast. Didn't get all the love he's supposed to because he was in Arizona when Arizona wasn't good. So I guess with my last pick,
No, it's not you.
It's on me, man. Boy, hold your britches, man.
What kind of snake is this?
I'm going with none other than the best running back in the state of Florida when we was coming out of high school. Travis Henry.
Yes, sir.
All Florida. That boy tore Tennessee up and down and got in the league, and he was tearing Buffalo up.
Hey, listen, could run that ball pound for pound.
Yeah, he
the ugliest guy I've seen in a long time. Now, he's not cute. He ain't gonna win no beauty contest. Now, you ain't pulling him out for Saturday night.
Yeah, boy. He ran that rock, though.
He ran that rock.
Yeah.
All right. So, Fred.
Before you go, Fred, just so everyone knows, this is the 15th pick. This is where Washington picked in 2001.
Rod Gardner.
So if we read, that was Rob Gardner. Santana one pick later.
I love Rod Gardner. That's my homeboy. We call him family. But I had just played against family in the Peach Bowl, Clemson versus Mississippi State, and he had as many catches as a dead man. And they chose him before me and chose him before Tanner.
That is the crazier one. No offense to you.
And we had Michael Westbrook on the team at the time, so you didn't need no big body. We had Kevin Lockett, Lockett's sons that play in Seattle now. We had Kevin Lockett. All right, so we didn't need
James Stratton.
We did not need a big receiver.
Yeah.
All right, we needed a speed receiver. Yeah. So I'm gonna clean all that up because I still gotta take a quarterback right here. and y'all didn't leave me much. As I look down here, pretty boy Jesse Palmer, I apologize for ruining your career. I ruined Jesse.
You don't want that one, though.
No,
right?
but I ruined his career.
Right. This is the story. Yeah, this is a good story.
Yeah, I played against him in Florida, Mississippi State, and we blew him out by 40 points. Him to never play again. I'm sorry, pretty boy. You just ran into the wrong schmoot at the time. All right. Sage Rosenfeld. My draft partner. We got drafted the same year. I love Sage Rosenfeld. Had a long career, all right, as a backup and spot played on some times. Old man Wanky.
Chris Wanky.
Man Wanky. All right, and that's where I'm going to go with my pick. I could have went Tim Hasselbeck. But Tim ain't he the other Hasselbeck? nobody goes in the store looking for a Tito Jackson album.
It sounds like you're playing an upside, though. You know, Chris Winkie, he won the Heisman, right?
Yeah, he won the Heisman. Snoop Minnie's road dog. He was just an older guy. He ain't had no hair, kind of like yours. All right, I'm going old man Winkie.
Chris Winkie.
Winkie. So, just to review, Jason, did you write them down?
Yeah, I wrote them down.
He running the ball.
I wrote them down. All right, so here we go. We're redrafting 2001. This is how it pans out.
Feeling pretty good about
Logan,
this.
you have Drew Brees.
Awesome.
Steve Smith.
Yep.
Sean Rodgers.
Crushing it.
Steve Hutchinson.
Yep.
Adrian Wilson.
Dude.
Pretty good draft.
Pretty good job. Pretty good job. Santana, you have Mike Vick.
Love it.
Yourself.
Love that.
Richard Seymour. Reggie Wayne. Travis Henry.
Dude, that's not bad. Oh, yeah.
But he ain't got nailed defense.
I got defense. Richard Seymour.
Oh, you do got Richard Seymour.
Come on now. Play with me. Play with me.
All right, Fred.
Yeah.
Chad Johnson.
Yep.
Great pick.
Danian Tomlinson.
Great.
Told it.
Deuce McAllister.
Pronounce it right.
Yeah, got it right. Yourself.
Big player.
And with the 15th pick, Washington took Chris Winkie.
I had to. I was forced into it. I was forced to take Bo Nix.
Are there any other players in the draft with you that came out in 2001 you just want to give honorable mention?
I would say Dan Morgan, Damian Lewis, those two of my Miami running mates, they went before me in the draft. I was 16. They was, I believe, D. Lou was 10 and Dan Morgan cracked the top 10. I think he was like 7 or 6 or something like that.
I'm gonna hit you with one you ain't think about. Woodrow Dantzler. You remember Woodrow? Was quarterback for Clemson. Ended up being a return man for the Cowboys.
I do remember Woodrow.
Quincy Carter.
Quincy Carter. Another quarterback. Yeah,
Marcus Stroud. I got so many dudes that came in.
Who the one put on the belt? From Philly.
Freddie Mitchell. Hey, listen, Freddie Mitchell. No. Like, it was so many guys in our class. Our class was one of those classes.
Is this Andre Carter that I played with?
Yeah.
Yes, Trey Carter.
Dude, love Andre Carter. Yeah, good dude.
Great dude. Shout out to Dre, man.
Drake coming out of college?
Oh, yes, sir.
Is that dude?
Yes, sir.
I mean, he was like
DN?
Yeah.
See, he played with us when he went in the right system.
Yeah.
They had Drake backing up and covering, man. And coming off that end.
Yeah.
When he get to hunt the quarterback, that boy was a beast.
Alex Brown. A lot of guys, man. Good class.
Good, you guys got good memories. I don't even know if I can name 3 people from my class, but I didn't have the same kind of relationships you guys had with those guys. Yeah. And now, if you're watching on YouTube, the special guest has arrived.
And
Zachary
he dressed like he had a picnic.
Selby.
It is time.
In Tampa.
And it is time.
It is time.
For the great bake-off. What round is this, guys? I don't even know.
The 5th round?
The 5th round.
Yeah.
The 5th round of the bake-off. And what are we baking, boys?
We're baking butter cake, and this is what happened. I called my sensei, chef, and I said, Sensei, I'm in a battle this week. What should I do? And he said, son, utilize the things you have, and you have the best stove. Right? You have the best pots and pans. You utilize those things and let it come to you, Padawan. So that's what I did.
Here, you know what the thing is? His sensei was the cashier at Wegmans. That's who it was.
Right.
And what she told you, make sure you take it out of this wrapper and put it in your own container.
You get out of the freezer about 3 hours before you cook it.
I love Wegmans, and they think I go there and just buy stuff. No, I go to Wegmans because it's God's kitchen. If God had a kitchen, it'll look like Wegmans.
It'll be Wegmans.
Zach, man, is getting after it. Zach has been pretty hostile on this one. Like the hostility, it feels like Steve Smith coming out here.
Well, you know what? I beat him up so early in these battles that he finally got a victory with the cookies, which I got a blind aunt he can make cookies. So I didn't give him no love.
You know,
and now he wants to try to give it all
that
back.
Says a lot about you.
You know when the coach tell you it ain't no such thing as a 30-point touchdown. Like you got to take it one play at a time.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to try to win everything in one cook-off. He can't do it.
And the smell in here right now is tremendous.
That's mine, by the way.
Yeah, my gas went.
That's the cake, by the way.
Man, this dude here, man.
All right. So, Caroline, I think we're ready for pie. These with pie? Cakes.
Butter cake.
They are very different.
Down, actually.
They're very different.
Did you heat mine, Caroline?
I can feel it. It's hot.
Okay.
Just pass them
Do we all get them?
Yeah, take one down and pass it around.
But they know which. You guys can't comment on this, right? Because you know who's.
We'll eat Fred's first.
No.
We're not letting you do any of that. You're not coming in here running anything.
It's a blind taste test.
Yeah, I've been saying you're not running anything.
That's fine.
All right, I don't even know. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got here. All right, so they look a little different.
They are different.
They are different.
Yeah, his look like the one you buy at 7-Eleven.
I don't want to know.
Did Jesus mail me there?
All right. I've never had butter cake before.
Me either. This is my first time.
Triangle's pretty solid.
Man, kind of soft.
Triangle's pretty soft.
You say it's obtuse. A little geometry.
Wow.
There.
Yeah. Okay. So there's two here, right? I don't even know how to describe them. So like it's a
gooey.
Yeah. It's a rectangle.
Yeah.
And then there's a triangle.
Yeah.
The one that is the rectangle has a very sauce on top, brown sauce. What do you think, Caroline? Is that good? Does that sound appetizing? And then
No, it's not.
The other one
Gravy.
looks like a quiche, kind of. The other one looks like a quiche. What do you think, Tana?
One is too sweet.
I'm eating.
They're pretty good, actually. Both of them. Let's see. One more time. And so I don't even know what a butter cake's supposed to taste like. So
Me either. That's the first time.
So we done lost this before it started then.
What's your butter cake taste like?
I'm just going off of what cake I like.
Tastes better? All right, Tana, so which one do you like better? Which one do you like better?
I like the brown one.
The square?
The square.
The square? I'd have to say the square, too.
Not me.
No, which one do you like better?
Triangle.
So did you make the triangle?
Don't you don't ask that question right now. Okay. I just like the triangle.
Zach.
Well, come on. Caroline, come on in.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
It's all about, do you like a sugar rush or do you like substance?
It is very sweet. The rectangle.
Like it's kind of too sweet.
I'm gonna have to put it down, but
Are they supposed to have? Is a butter cake supposed to be sugary on top? Or is this?
It depends on who.
Yeah, it depends on who makes it.
Yeah, who makes
Okay,
it.
all right, I got you.
I like to make mine for grown-ups. He make his for kids. So it's a difference. See, mine is for a steakhouse, 5-star. His is for like the Outback.
Interesting.
The Outback?
Interesting.
Longhorn.
hey man,
Square. Caroline says emphatically square. Like didn't even
Square.
not even a moment's hesitation.
Square.
I'm just, you know
Square?
what?
you gotta say,
Square's
man.
pretty good.
I see what's going on now.
No, it's not even that.
It's a mutiny.
And and the thing that's so crazy, I knew who cake was what.
Did you?
Yeah, I knew him. But it's not. I'm one of the guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the
Tell
truth. Fred Zone is good, but he might have a point. I love sugar, and this shit tastes fire. You hear me?
So, somebody got a broom over here?
Oh, Zach is back. The Zach attack. He's back.
A broom. First
So
of all,
which one do you really like better?
mine.
No, taste them again.
His is too sweet for me.
It is very sweet.
Like I don't want that much sugar.
Diabetes.
Like I couldn't like finish his.
Let me tell you something.
Like listen, I say this. Taste out the door, yours did taste a tad better.
You're right. Thank you
I
for
said
that. Objectively.
The sustainable eating experience.
I just said I couldn't finish it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Let me tell you my philosophy on desserts.
It is very sweet.
Fred.
I said good.
If I'm going to eat dessert, I'm not eating it to be healthy. I'm not eating it. I'm going in. I'm going all in.
I had to scrape some off the top.
All of the chips are on the table.
I just feel like I make mine for grown people. And grown people got to take a little of that sugar out of there.
So where we at when it comes to?
3-2 right now,
No,
right?
it's actually 2-2-1.
Oh yeah, it was a tie. It was a tie.
Yeah, it was a tie.
It was a tie.
So what was the tie?
What was the tie?
The pumpkin was
the first one we did. First one we did.
Did I make pumpkin pie?
No, you made
sweet potato pie.
And he made
the purple sweet potatoes. Remember?
It was very good.
It was better.
Yeah,
it was very good.
I had to tie one of them. You back, man. You back.
So Carolina Square.
You came with vengeance on that one.
That's right.
That was good.
That's right.
I did not feel like that butter cake was that good because if I go to what's the name, see, this is what I'm gonna do. Because these two,
you know what we should do?
They ain't even ate butter cake, so I'm gonna go get them a steakhouse butter cake, and I'm gonna bring them a professional made butter cake, and y'all gonna see that his.
We should have Fletch try it.
But what it is though, and like I said, I don't know what butter cake is, but like I said, I went off just what my taste bugs like.
Right.
And if I was at a steakhouse, yo, it's a straight. You a baker. I don't realize you be in there with your little apron on.
This
you do your thing.
This is the first time.
He has got me though.
This is the first time I actually think Zach's texture is better. Like one of the first times. Yeah. It's like nice and fluffy and soft. Yours is a little dense, which is you have not done a dense cake.
So you was bowling too long yesterday.
I was bowling with your left hand.
That was sponsored by local alcohol.
So I think Selby.
Emphatically Selby.
Give Selby a hand. You know what I'm saying? By time.
That was the first. That was the first
two in a row.
That was the first like clean one though.
I voted for him. It's fine.
Look at you being the bigger guy.
That's really
hey
nice.
Man, that's one thing as a cornerback. When you get burnt, the world see it. Right?
Hey,
you're used to it.
Hey, if you want lessons, you can come by my place anytime.
Zach, you talk a lot of noise.
Actually, he took my joke and bounced it back. That's what he did. And I want y'all two to know that whispering is rude.
Well, I'm rubber and you're glue, man. Whatever you say bounce off me and sticks to you.
All right. So I think that's going to do it for today. And also, just I got to point this out.
Yeah.
We have another avenue of our media department. They do the Commander's Logs.
All right.
And they do a really good job of getting behind the scenes information on this, right? And so there's a great clip that I think Jason's going to put in here about Joe Gibbs' involvement in some of the process in terms of like his input. And everyone loves Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Everyone loves seeing a little bit behind the scenes. They did such a good job. And I don't know how they get this access.
Yeah.
Because we have such a hard time getting access, but they have so much information that they've got on camera. So if you like the Commanders, you want to see kind of this new coaching hire process, please make sure you check out the Commander's Log, which is a great show. I watch it whenever it comes out. When's it come out, Jason? It's like kind of whenever they have content. Yeah, so you got to make sure you're subscribed. So that's the thing. It's not a regular thing because they're long-term projects. So whenever they come out, make sure you check them out. And I think that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for joining. Zachary, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fred, really solid.
I'm crying. See that?
Yeah,
Victory sweet.
I always wanted to coach someplace where football was really important.
Me too.
It's really important there.
Yes.
Because you got the most powerful city in the world. The only thing that brings that city together is that football team. And I love that part of it because, yes, there's pressure there. You got to win and all that, but you want it to be something special. And there, it's special. And that fan base, they're ready. They want to come back. They're ready to. And so I think you've got, honestly, I think you got the best coaching job in the world.
We are brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. That's why we offer an in-game experience which covers over 78 sports and over 780,000 live streams to 90 million customers worldwide. Our online betting brand is powered by a world-class proprietary product and over 7,000 employees across the globe. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, the official sporting betting partner of your Washington Commanders. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.